God's been a good father to you? I said, put your hands together. For if he's been a good father to you, hallelujah, he's been a good father to me. He's been a good father. Not just good, he's been great. He's been awesome. He's been faithful. He's been amazing. If we're going to celebrate any father today, we ought to celebrate our Father, who art in heaven, whose name is to be hallowed, whose kingdom is to come, whose will is to be done on earth as it is in heaven. He's the good Father. God, we bless your name today. Thank you for being our Father. Thank you for always being there. Thank you that when my mother and my father forsake me, your word says that even you would take me up. And you said you would never leave us nor forsake us. No matter what it looks like, no matter how it may feel, we know that our Father is with us. You're with us when we're in good times. You're with us when times seem bad. You're with us on the mountaintop and with us in the valley. And God, we thank you today. Thank you that you never leave us. Thank you that you're faithful. Oh, faithful to remain, God. Thank you that you're faithful to save, God. Thank you that your hand, God, is strong in our lives and your good hand is upon us in this season, God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Father. We give you glory. You may be seated in the house of the Lord. Hallelujah. My soul is overjoyed. I'm feeling a little emotional at this moment. As our children are going to be dismissed, would you do me a favor? We raise our children and we invest in our children with the goal and the desire that they will become responsible adults and that they will live good, godly lives, and that our sons will be good husbands and that our daughters will marry good husbands. And I just want to take a moment to give God praise and thank Him for my daughter's husband. Michael. I know what it's like if you have a daughter that's never been married and she's young now and she starts to date and talk about marriage. And there's something in a father that just... You're just so concerned. And she picks that the right man finds her and that she says yes to the right man. And so you give him a hard time in the beginning, and I gave him a way to go. I gave him a way to go, but not for nothing, you know. I just wanted to make sure that she was going to be taken care of. And today, on Monday, they're moving. Into adulthood further, God, and they go into this next season and journey in their lives. I thank you that you covered them when you came in, and that your hand remained upon their lives, God, and cover children, and that and that they would not miss the love of their family, God, but even at a distance, God, they can feel our love and our hearts for them wherever they go. I pray, God, that everything they put their hands to do, you bless it. I pray that you would cover and protect their marriage, God. That, Lord God, they would grow stronger and closer together, and that the endeavors that they are encountering and that they're going about, Lord, that your favor would be upon their lives. Keep them, oh God. Increase them, Father, and mature them. And I pray for my wife because she's strong now, but I know how much she loves our children. Comfort us in their distance and help us to all deal with the appearing separation. God, give us strength. We don't miss our children, but we know that you're here to comfort us in that. So we thank you for what you're doing in their lives, and we give you glory today in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you for allowing me that moment. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 9. Thank you all again for your words and your gifts. Thank you for all that you did today. I'm so grateful. Can you hear me? Is that too loud or is it good? It's all right. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5. And then we're going to go to Matthew chapter 22. Starting at verse 36. Welcome to our Facebook Live audience. Welcome to the city where we're building strong people, strong families, and strong faith. Thank you for joining us, whether you're alive or on the replay. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5, and the word of the Lord reads, And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might. In Matthew 22, verse 36, beginning there, it says, Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law? And Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. This is the first and great commandment. This is the first and great commandment. Father, I ask that you make your presence known in these next few minutes, that the word taught and proclaimed would impact the hearts of your people. Let us be changed in this word, for we know that your word says that anytime we can see the word, hear the word, and understand the word, that we can be changed into the word that we see, believe, receive. We give you glory for what you're about to do in these next few minutes. In Jesus' name, amen and amen. Hallelujah. Thank you all again. Thank you so much, Mr. DJ. Appreciate your ministry. We are going to be spending the next few weeks talking about the core values of our ministry. Talking about the core values of our church. And why? Because we want to spend the next few weeks actually discussing the culture of our church. The culture of our church. If you were a leader here and you were with us last week on Sunday for our leadership meeting, you know that we discussed church culture. And I wanted to take a few minutes today and then a few weeks to invest in that conversation with the body at large. Amen? In the last few months, I've come to understand the importance of the word culture more than ever before. As we shared in the leadership meeting last week, culture is the accumulation of shared values and behaviors of the people in a group. Okay, that's a basic definition of culture. It is the accumulation of the shared values and behaviors of the people in a group. Some people say culture is the track that your church runs on, or it's the air that people breathe when they come in to your ministry. It's how your organization feels when people interact with you. It's how it feels. Culture is what people experience when they come into contact, watch this, not just with a church, but with any organization, with any family, with any nation, or even with an individual person. How people feel when they interact with you. Not just what you are saying or what you are doing, but how does what you are saying and what you are doing make people feel? Believe it or not, the kingdom has a culture. And I know that we do not often discuss culture in this nature, but the kingdom of God, not heaven, God's kingdom, but his kingdom here on the earth, us as a collective in the body of Christ, has a culture. And we're going to be learning not just about church culture. Right now we're going to talk church, and then we're going to talk kingdom culture right after that, because we want to make sure that we understand the totality of the importance of culture in our lives. Now watch this. Culture can be such an abstract word, though. And that was the struggle I had with the conversation of culture I shared with the leaders last week for such a long time, is nobody could really make concrete, literal sense to me. And so it sounded like a buzzword or a fad, and I was like, culture, you know, I don't get it. And then it was made to make sense to me. Look at your neighbor, say values. Come on, say it like you would say values. Like, do me a favor, take a few of these, take one of these, and then pass on one of these in everybody's hand. Just say, values are so important to culture. Culture, watch this, is driven by values. So when we say that culture is a collective of values and behaviors between a people group, you can't understand culture if you don't understand the values. Does that make sense? I'm just teaching for just a few moments, if you don't mind, and I'll yell, and so I'll change microphones. I'll grab the handheld mic, and I'll Father's Day y'all out at the end. No, I won't. But if you're going to understand culture, then you have to understand values. Because there is no way to see culture without values. Does that make sense? Culture cannot be, I don't even back. Let me have one for me. I just want to be like everybody else. Just be in unity. You can't create a culture. You can't demonstrate a culture unless there is a set of values in place. Does that make sense now? Does that make sense? Okay, good. Watch this. Culture is driven by values, but created by behavior. Okay? Is that okay? Culture is driven by a value system. But a value system in and of itself is not enough to create a culture. It'll just give you a structure or an outline of the culture. You must then put behavior behind values if culture is going to be created. Making sense? Making sense? Do me a favor, James. On the soundboard, the first red dial, the first red one next to the orange, if you bring that down a tad. A little bit more. A little bit more. Thank you so much. There we go. Good. I won't have that ringing anymore. Watch this. How people behave creates a culture, in essence. You have a set of values, but how people behave is what creates the culture that we're operating under. Does that make sense to you? You can have a value, and if you do not act in accordance with the value, then you're not creating the culture that the value is trying to establish. But you are creating a culture. Because no matter what you do, you are creating a culture around you. Because your actions are making somebody else feel or think something. If you got a nasty attitude, then you're creating a nasty culture around yourself. And if you take yourself and make yourself a part of anything else, a body, an organization, a group of people, now, depending on who interacts with you, they'll think that the culture of the organization is nasty. Because culture is driven by values, but it is demonstrated by behaviors. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Okay, so you can have a value that says saving money is important to me. That's my value. But if all you ever do is spend money, then you're not creating a culture where money has value in your life. You're creating a culture that says we waste money. Does it make sense? Yeah. Okay, good. So watch this then. Values then are worthless if they are not demonstrated. Take that for your family. If you're an entrepreneur, take that for your business. If you're a leader in any kind of work environment, take it for your team at work. If you have a set of values and you do not demonstrate them, they're worthless. So if you're going to create a culture, if we're going to create a culture in any area of our lives, we need to, number one, have a set of values. Number two, know what the values are. And number three, demonstrate the values. Because the values that you demonstrate create the culture. And the culture creates a feeling. And the feeling gives an experience. Watch this. Some people don't even like Chick-fil-A chicken. But they still go. Because they like the way they are made to feel in a Chick-fil-A more than they like the way they are made to feel in a Popeyes. Because Chick-fil-A has a set of value. And I said some people. Now some people respond only to the God of their belly. And if they like the Popeyes, they like the Popeyes better than not going to Chick-fil-A because Popeyes say something to their stomach and that's all they care about. But some people, it's about the culture. And so when you have a church, watch this, you have to be careful to create a culture in a church that is inviting and that is loving and that is caring. Because when you have a ministry, the culture of the ministry is seen as a subculture of the kingdom. And so how you make people feel when they come into your church, they don't always associate it with your church. I think it was Pastor J. Patrick, who when he was here for our leadership summit, he said when you go to a restaurant and you get really bad service, you don't leave the restaurant and go back to your friends and say, Shirley is a horrible waitress. You say, man, I ain't never going back to Fridays. You blame the head for the culture that you experienced. And so when people experience bad culture at church, a lot of times they'll blame the pastor. But even more than that, they blame God. And so they say things like, I don't mess with God because them church people. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Amen. And you have a church, a group of people called to win people to Christ. Amen. Who have now turned people off from Christ. Mm-hmm. And granted, there are some people who use the church as an excuse. But there are some people who sincerely experience terrible culture. No, they can't go to, they can't go to God in judgment and say, well, if the culture of that church has been better, I would have got. That ain't going to work for them. Amen. But in the meantime, we should love them enough to not even want them to have to get to that point. Amen. You should have a culture in your home. We should be cognizant of this is why this message is an evangelistic message in its nature, because it's not just about the culture we create in the church. It's also about the culture you're cognizant of creating in your home. Is valuing God, is esteeming God part of the value system of your house? Is it? Is God is number one of the values of my home. If that is one of the values of your home, then my question is, do your children see you demonstrating that value? Amen. Because for you to talk the value and then not demonstrate the value makes you seem disingenuous to your children. And we have a generation of children now who have an odd type of relationship with God because they've seen displayed in their home an odd type of culture. So because in their home, mommy and daddy said that they love God and God is first place in their life as a value, and that's what they taught. But what they demonstrated was strife and arguing and lack of prayer and zero Bible and all TV and live how you want to live and cuss and drink and smoke. Now the kids leave the home thinking, well, that's what that value looks like. So I'm okay with that culture. Because culture is important. That's why this message series that we're going to be in the next few weeks is called Do It for the Culture. Yeah, I know, that's what they say now. That's one of the good, I do it for the culture. Yes, you should be doing it for the culture. Doing what? Doing the values that you say you have. Doing the values. I'm going to take a fatherly moment. Where is the whole music department? Because at this church, the word is important. You got to get the word if you're going to do it for the culture. That's old church. I know they're looking at me like, oh man, that sounds like my granddaddy when he was a pastor. He used to do that kind of stuff. Yeah, because sometimes you just got to find out where people are. If we're going to create a ministry where people are impacted, then we got to do it what? Do it for the culture. And so culture, we said, is comprised of values. So now everybody here that's here today, you have what's been newly introduced as our core values card. And here at the city, these are the, now we have if you've been through new members class, you know we have like a 2-page or sheet that shows all of the values of the ministry. Welcome back. Amen. All of the, y'all forgive me. These are my children, I can do that. All of the values of the ministry. But there are 6 core values that drive toward the culture of what we're trying to create, or the culture we're trying to create. What are those values? You see them. We love God. We love people. We serve others. We honor everyone. We believe big. We pursue excellence. So now, if we are not doing these things, then we are not creating this culture. Amen? Makes sense? Makes sense? That makes sense. I can keep moving. Their core values, and watch this, to be honest, they should be the core values in our homes. These are good 6 values for you to live by. I mean, you can add some more value. You want to make it 7, because 7 is the number of completion. You want to make it 8, because you like number 8, 9, 10, whatever. But these 6 values right here, these good values for your whole life. To love God, to love people, to serve, to honor, to believe God, to pursue excellence. But if we're going to create the culture here, watch this, we got to not only commit to living out the values, but we also have to commit to understanding the values. And that is where me as a pastor, as a leader, it's my responsibility to then do what? Talk about the values. And to do what? Teach the values. Because the more we believe, the more you teach, the more you can expect something to manifest. Amen? We teach faith because we want you to walk by faith. And we teach faith here. If you've been a part of any of the message series, we teach faith. We teach faith and bring it out of the theoretical into the practical. So we want to teach the values. And today, for the next 20 minutes, forgive me, 20 minutes, we're going to talk about the first value. We love God. We love God. Our text for today, we have God giving a commandment to the children of Israel that you shall love the Lord thy God with all heart, mind, and strength. And we have Jesus, fast forward to the New Testament, when he's asked by somebody, what is the greatest commandment? Of all the commandments that the Old Testament is filled with, what is the greatest commandment? And Jesus says that you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, and Jesus says, and even your mind. So let me ask you this question then. Do you love God? momentarily pause to give you some time of reflection. Do you love God?
Yeah.
Do you love God? Good. I'm glad you said that. I'm going to challenge you today, though. I want to challenge you today, if you don't mind. You still love me. I hope you still love me. Next time, next. Do you love God is the question. Do you really love Him? Have you taken the time to sit down and contemplate what it really means to love God, and then to search your own heart and life to see if does my life reflect a life of love with God? I mean, I know we're believers, I get it, and all believers should and must have a love relationship with God, but just what if our theoretical love for God does not match the literal or practical expression of love that God is looking for? What if? What if? Just what if is the question. I'm just what if? I remember when I first, quote unquote, loved a girl. Sorry, babe. I was really young. Don't worry about this. Okay. I was in high school, and I thought that, you couldn't tell me she was not the one for me. That girl bought me a herringbone necklace. Do y'all know that? Y'all remember about that? Back in the day, they're coming back. Back in the day, it was the jump. The herringbone, you get a little kink in it, would mess your whole, you'd be so upset you got a little. I thought my mama made me get that necklace back. She did. Y'all too young for all that. You know what? All I wanted to do was talk to her. I wanted to see her. I just wanted to spend time with her. I thought she was the one, especially after she got me that necklace. I was like, that's not in her chain. She gave me a necklace. Oh, shit, it's the one. So I found out. I want to only joke with a necklace. Oh my God. And it won't even real. Don't hurt. Anyway. And I realized just how you do me a favor and turn that fan down. And it wasn't until I realized that the feeling wasn't mutual. Somehow, all that love fizzled away. I don't know where it went. It's like the fizz on the soda when you leave it open. It just dissipated. It was gone. But then I can remember when me and another young lady, now we fell in love. Quote unquote, we fell in love with, watch this, with one another. Okay, I remember that. Watch this. Now the feelings were mutual. There were mutual feelings now. There were mutual feelings. What's that? All we wanted to do was spend time together. All we wanted to do was be with one another. All we wanted to do was talk on the phone. Y'all don't know about this, but when I was young, you didn't have a cell phone. Amen. Amen. Yeah, all the millennials is confused. What you mean? Yeah, we didn't have no cell phone. Amen. So when you talked on the phone all night, especially like the girl I like who lived in the next city over, it cost money. Amen. Yeah, now we had a phone. We had a phone bill. And my mama got that phone bill. Yeah. And I found out that love is pain. No. Amen. You just wanted to talk. And you would write the letters, two and 3 page love letters, just girl, you just you was in love with one another. Fast forward. Now we're in this generation. Let me bring it somewhere where you can get it, you can understand it. You're so in love that you talk on the cell phone because it's unlimited minutes now, right? Okay, till you fall asleep. Amen. Who been there before? Anybody been there? Everybody been like that? Yeah, you know what it feel like. Y'all be on the phone talking, and then what you doing? You sleep? I wasn't asleep. Yes, you was. No, I'm about to go. No, I wasn't asleep. I was just listening to you breathe. All night long. Texting. If If you text her and she texts you, and then you text her and then she texts you, and then you text her and then no text come back. And then you sitting there like, what happened? She didn't even text me back. And the next day she be like, I fell asleep. You text till you fall asleep. That was, you, watch this. When you felt in love, you would forsake sleep. You would forsake food. Remember, yes you would. When you first start, now wait a minute. Now when you, now the old saints will tell you, when you first start liking somebody real hard, you don't even have no, your hunger go away. Remember, I remember, I ain't even hungry. I don't even know what's going on. I'm just so enraptured. I mean, I'll eat if I got to, but I'm not hungry like I usually be. You forsake, you know what I'm talking about, brother. You've been there before, yeah. You forsake money, dates, gifts. You take it to the places you can't even afford to eat. You and that boy eating on a wish. Lord, please, you know, I want that. Please. And she goes, that girl, I ain't really all that hungry. I'm going to get some bread. Because you know you ain't got... y'all acting fake. Watch this. You forsake your friends. And your family. How you got folk treat you? Oh, you acting different now since you got with her. You acting funny now since you got with him. You in love, or we don't never see you. We don't never hear from you. Now ask yourself again. Do you love them?
It's powerful.
You missing any meals? We call it fast, you stop. You staying up all night, fall asleep talking to God. Anybody missing you for your relationship with God? Do you even miss a TV show? In the text, God tells us here, he says, you gotta love me, but you gotta love me with all of your heart and your soul and even your strength. Jesus tells us you got to do it with all your heart, your soul, and even your mind. And words in the Bible sometimes can seem so abstract, and we don't take the time to really dig in and understand what God is saying. He says you got to love me with all your heart. That this heart is not your blood pump. It is the center of your existence. It is the inner man. It is your innermost part. It is the deepest center of all physical life. The heart is the essence of who you are. That says if you're going to love me, you got to love me with the essence of who you really are. This is why loving God allows you to come to God broken. It allows you to come to God in a messed up state. You may have to pretend for his love or her love, but with God, God says, no, come to me loving me with who you really are. The essence of your being I want you to love me with. And then he says, you know what else? I want you to love me with all your soul. What is your soul? My soul is going on to be with the Lord. Yeah, I get that part. That's not this soul, though. That's the immaterial soul. But this is your mind, your will, and your emotions. Yeah. This is, watch this. It is the seat of your appetites. It is the seat of your passions and your desires. It is where you make decisions for what you want or what you will refuse, what you will embrace or what you will reject. Your soul is the decision maker for you. What do you acquiesce to? What is it that you run to? You run to these things with your soul. It is your soul that makes decisions for you. Watch this. He who winneth souls is wise, is what the Bible says. And you thought that meant he who went out and got people saved by them accepting Jesus. That is not what that means. Because to get somebody saved on the street ministry, please do it, is only dealing with their spirit man. For when I accept Christ as my Savior, my spirit man is now made perfect, but my soul must be converted. It must be sanctified. It must go through a process of relearning and restructuring what it is I love to do and what it is I don't want to do. my soul must be a change. And here God says, not only do you need to love me with all of who you are, but you need to love me with the seat of your passions. I need to be what you desire. I should be what you long for. I need to consume your mind, your will. What it is that you are willing to do should be centered on your love for God. Your emotions should be centered on your love for God. Do you love God with your emotions? There you go. Your strength. Your strength. Force. Your power. Your might. This is your body. Do you love God with your body? Does your body express, Paul said, I bring my body under subjection so that my body, even the physical part of me, will obey God. We are saved and our spirit man is converted. Then we must our spirit man is made perfect. So then we deal with the conversion of our soul because your body answers to your soul. I'm sorry, your body desires and it takes a direction from the soul. So when you have an ungodly physical desire or a perverted physical desire, you can't tell your hand to not want to touch her. Hand don't touch her. Hand is saying, I don't touch her on my own. Soul is telling me to touch her. So you can't correct hand, you got to correct soul. So if you're going to love God, it's a progression. You understand? Love me with all of your heart, the center of who you are. Then your soul, that which makes the decisions for you. So then your strength will love me. And the strength does not just mean strength and power, it also means abundance. Because we are to love God with an abundant love. Do we really? This is the, oh God help me. And Jesus said with your mind, with the faculty of your understanding, with the way you think. Does the way you think love God? I read all of this, and I studied it, and I tried to wrap my mind around it. And I said, even me, as the pastor, I had to sit before God and say, do I really love you? Yes, I love you. But do I love you the way you require me to love you? Some of us have read the 5 love languages. It's funny to me how we can see the importance of loving another person according to their love language. But somehow we're not looking at, are we giving God his love language? You want to love God the way you want to love him, not the way he wants to be loved. Because God said, if you're going to love me the way I want to be loved, this with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. And you said, well, I gave you my mind. But my strength I got to hold on to. Because I like to do these things. But God, I love you. And because God is so rich in grace and mercy, he's allowing us an opportunity, a chance after chance. And he's saying, if you would just love me the way I require you to. And I asked myself, and I asked God, I said, how can we? It seems like such a big requirement. And I know we should, but how? See, because my intention, if you were in a leadership meeting, you know, my intention was to come in and start teaching you about what it looks like to love God. That was real good. If you love God, you be jumping. If you love God, you be dancing. If you love God, you be singing. But I realized that it was too soon to deal, watch this, with these symptoms if we didn't deal with the root first. Telling you what to do and not to do in order to, watch this, look like you love God is useless if we're not going to deal with how it is even possible for you to do so to begin with. And we love symptomatic medication. I don't like it. I mean, my wife will tell you, she's like, I don't want to hear you coughing and sniffling and sneezing. I'm like, I don't want to take the Theraflu. The Theraflu is not going to fix the issue in me. It's going to make me drowsy, hurt my body. It's just dealing with the symptoms. Right. It's not getting to the root cause. Yeah. And that's what we do so often as pastors and leaders in church is we try to deal with the symptoms of the people of God. We keep trying to address your symptoms and well, if you should not do this and you should not do that and you should do this and you should do that, and we've become doctors for symptoms. But we're not dealing with a disease. How can you really love God? Where does the ability really come from? That is the question. Because watch this. In the natural, nobody can make you fall in love with them. I can send you as many flowers as I want to. I can buy you as many candies, write you as many letters, send you as many sweet nothings, and do all that I want to do. And never be able to make you, or watch this, give you the ability to love me. But that's not God. That's just us. Thanks be to God that he's God. Because God desires that you love him, but he also so great in who he is that not only is he the one that desires your love, he knows how to give you the ability to love him. And this is the problem with treating symptoms, is I'm trying to make you produce out of your flesh something that your flesh does not have the ability to produce. I'm trying to make you love God by telling you to love him. You should love him. You should love him. You should look like you love him. You should act like you love him. And all the while, your flesh is in the way, and nobody has ever told you how. But God put a little small scripture in the Bible. Go to 1 John chapter 4. Verse 19. God says here in 1 John 4 and 19 in the word, it says, we love him because he first loved us. We love God because God first loved us. Better understood, we love God as a result of God loving us. Not to be confused with since God loved us, now I'm just going to love God. No. That would make the sentence too weak. The powerfulness in the simplicity of the statement is that no greater than the love of God for us. There's nothing more able to make you love God than an understanding or a realization or an embrace or an interaction with his love for you. God's love for us given to us first, without our deserving, without our qualifying. Not only does it provoke us, but it enables us, God help me, to love him the way he requires. If you really get a revelation for how much God loves you, you can't help but want to love him. But it's so powerful that with that desire comes also an ability. why Paul prayed. This is why he prayed day and night. This is why he said he got on his knees. We don't pray a lot on our knees anymore. It's not a problem that we walk and pray. It's not a problem. But sometimes when you really need something from God, it'll drive you to your knees. It'll drive you to your knees. It'll drive you down. It'll drive you even further. When you really need him, sometimes it'll drive you to your knees. Other times, it'll put you on your face. And this is what Paul says here. If you go to Ephesians 3, verse 14, Paul begins to talk about, he continues to talk about the church, the body of Christ, whom he had so much love for, who he had so much of a desire to see live out all the fullness of what that Christ had died for them to have. Paul, a true apostle, a Christian, a true lover of the Christian, and a person who sacrificed. Paul realized something. He realized that he could not talk the love of God into you. He could not preach the love of God into you. He could not teach the love of God into you. He said there's only one way I can do. I got to pray the love of God into people, because I cannot get them to realize how much God loves them. Only God can. Amen. And so he says, for this reason, I bow my knees to the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, from whom the whole family in heaven and earth is named, that he would grant you, according to the riches of his glory, to be strengthened with might through his Spirit in your inner man. Last week we talked about the indwelling of the Holy Spirit, and that out of your belly is supposed to flow rivers, but rivers flow out because of what dwells in. And this is one of the most important reasons for you having the Holy Ghost, is because the Holy Spirit comes into you, and then it puts into you an ability and a strength. He says here that it strengthens you so that Christ can dwell in your heart through faith, that you being what? Rooted and grounded in the love of God. This is our problem. We're experiencing God's love for us on the surface. We're like a potted plant instead of a planted plant. A potted plant has roots, but the roots can't be grounded because the plant is in the pot. And we've been experiencing, understanding God's love for us in a pot. We understand it with a limit. But what Paul is praying is that the Christian would come out of the pot and get into the ground, so that his roots can grow down into God, into the love of God, so that you could understand what it meant to die for you. While you were yet in your sin, while you were not thinking about God, while you were blaspheming, while you were rejecting, while you were doing whatever you wanted to do, he still sent his son. Do you know how much I love my sons? Do you know the feeling of love I have I'm a man for my son? I'll do anything for my sons. That he would give his only son. But I got two. If I might have to give up one, just like to be all right. I know this. If I have to give up one, maybe there'd be a coping mechanism, because I say, well, at least I have another son. But to not have another option, and to give the only one I have for you, how much must I love you? And if I love you that much, why would you not love me in return? Paul says here, not that you would be rooted and grounded in love only, but that you would be able to comprehend, to understand, to realize, to have a revelation of, to have a relationship with, to get involved with. Let's like all the saints, what is the width, the length, the depth, and the height? To know the love of Christ, which surpasses human understanding. How can I love God with all my mind, all my soul, and all my strength? I can't understand that that's okay. Yeah. Because if you let the Holy Spirit work in you, he'll give you a revelation of the love of God that surpasses your understanding. Yeah. And we're trying to love God within our own understanding. But God is requiring more from us. Amen. He said, if you would just trust in me with all of your heart and lean not to your own understanding. But we want to just understand. So we reason out our love for God. A God who loved us without reason, we reciprocate his love with reason. And so you'll fall asleep on the phone with her, but you'll pray to him for 5 minutes. Good. You'll spend your last dime to impress her or him. But you don't want to give him a dime on a dollar. Amen. 90 cents left. And you don't want to give it to him. Tithing is never, tithing in the New Testament is not about the requirement of the curse. It's about love. Yeah. Amen. The question is not, will you be cursed if you don't? The question is, do you love him enough to just do it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're reasoning out our love for God. And it's almost like, I don't like raw onions. My wife knows I don't like raw onions. So she doesn't bring me a plate of food with raw onions sprinkled on top and put it in my face and tell me to accept it as what I like it anyway, want it anyway, eat it anyway. That's what we do to God. He says, love me with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. And you say, just take what I'm giving you. Just take what I'm giving you. It should be good enough for you, God. I gave you a little bit. And he said, give me all. And you said, I gave you a little bit. And he says, give me all. And I gave you a little bit. And he says, but I gave you all. Amen. I gave you all of me. And you want to give me some of you. And then you want to run through the streets and jump into church and wear your t-shirts telling everybody how much you love God. And God is saying, but I told you how to love me. I told you how to love me. And then I gave you grace so that you could grow in that love for me. Grow in that love for me. That's what I didn't come today. Next week we'll talk about what it looks like to love God. But this week I came to say to you that most of us, hey, watch this, me. I need to grow in my love for God. Yeah. Because even me, yes, me, the pastor, I pray you come back next Sunday. There are some areas of my life in which I have tucked some things away and said, you can have all of this, but not this. And some of what you're keeping from God, he doesn't even want to take from you. Yeah, he just wants to know where your heart is. Yeah. Do you love me with all your heart? Then offer it to me. Abraham, offer me Isaac so I can show you the ram. But if you keep Isaac, you'll never have the revelation of the ram. You'll never know that I loved you too much to take that from you. I wanted to give you more. You keep hiding that boyfriend. You keep hiding that girlfriend. You keep hiding the club. You keep hiding the pornography. You keep hiding the lust. You keep hiding it from him. As if he can't see it.
Amen. Amen.
You're hiding it in plain sight. And he can see it, and all he's saying is, why don't you offer it? Because I have something better.
Yeah.
Or, I just want to bless it. But if you never offer it, I can't bless it. So now you're going to have to make it work on your own instead of having my anointing on it. If Jesus hadn't have blessed the fish and the 5 loaves, they would have never multiplied. Some of us have things that we should be offering so that the love of God can bless. But instead, you're hiding it. That's what I came to say today as we get ready to go home. Everybody standing, is we have to come to a realization that there is a love for God that God is requiring of us in this season. And if we're going to accomplish, Mother, that which he has called us to accomplish, you want great things from God. God to say, just love me the way I want to be loved, not the way you want to love me. Love me with your time. Watch this. Some of us don't have a problem giving money. We got a problem giving time. Because we've created our own agenda. It's funny to me in this dispensation that you can plan out a vacation a year ahead of time. But you don't have anything on your schedule set away for God. I preach this all the time, and I know it offends some people, and I really don't care. I don't because I know it to be true. All your PTO is just for you. It's called paid time off. You should be tithing that too. You should be looking at your vacation balance and saying, God, you're so good to me that I got a job that pays me to stay home. They gave me 10 days a year. One of those days I'm taking off and it's going to be just for you. They gave me 20 days a year. 2 days I'm taking it off and it's going to be just for you. And then watch this, and I'm going to follow the leading of your spirit. If you tell me to take another day or a week later on in the year to do something for your kingdom, I'm going to take it, because I'm not just going to take my vacation for my cruise. I'm going to take my vacation for your kingdom. Because I love you with all that I am. If I can stay awake all night to go out on a date, I can stay awake all night to pray. I can spend my last at Applebee's. She's a cheap date. If I can spend my last at the Applebee's, I can spend my last on him. Because Applebee's has 0 return. But God he has a well that never runs dry. Applebee's is only going to fill your stomach for a moment, but God said, I'll fill you up for the rest of your life. You got to love God the way God wants to be loved. That is our prayer today. While every head is bowed, every